What is going on, everybody? Welcome to a Saturday evening or late afternoon. I am Britt Devine, back with Spidey Bomb himself, checks notes, plus 850 TJ on TJ Friedel. Thanks for that one. Looking for some more. How's it going, man?
Doing well. Friedel hit a home run, Fraley hit a home run, and Nimmo's game hasn't started yet. So the Spidey Bombs going well so far. 2 for 3 or 2 for 2, really, since the third one hasn't started. So we better get those likes up. And as soon as we hit 50, we got our first Spidey Bomb for the people.
All right, we'll get up to 50. Here with my prop brother, Mr. Will Priester, head of the prop shop in the RotoGrinders Discord. Chief, what's going on?
Nothing much, man. Another day, another dollar. It's been a good week. Hopefully, I can make some money tonight in the DFS streets as well.
All right, they are smashing the like button, TJ. They are looking for the Spidey Bombs. We'll get to those in just a minute. But TJ is going to help me out with some cash game talk. We're going to let Chief handle some of the tournament chatter. So it looks like our early slate, at least for me, is going pretty good. Let's try to hold this trend into the night slate, TJ, where pitcher is a little strange. The expensive guys may not be the ones you want to use to back your teams with today. So what's your overall thoughts between Webb, Wheeler? We've got Scherzer on Fanduel, Paxton's in there too. Or do you go to the Detmers, Christian Javier tier, who are a little cheaper and honestly, to me, and to the bat, project a little bit better? What's your overall take here?
So my plan is I'm basically going to be ignoring the highest price section. So Logan Webb, Zach Wheeler, Sonny Gray, no matter how many lineups I decided to play, they'd be getting the X button for me. Atlanta's the top stack on the slate. They're who I want to be getting heavily overweight on today. I'd like to get a few other guys that are pretty expensive as well in terms of bats. So my priority target, my most important guy today is going to be Reed Detmers on DraftKings, but on FanDuel particular, I'm going to be either looking at Cease, Detmers, or Javier. Whichever one of those three you're most comfortable with, those are the three that I'm going to be looking to go with. I still think I'd be all good with going Detmers there, but I think if you want to roll Javier instead in cash, I'm totally good with that. I'd probably lean to one of those two, just because those few extra dollars could help out, but I have no problem whatsoever with Cease there either. On DraftKings, Detmer's the one guy I want to make sure I'm going with, and then I'm deciding between Javier or Cease for my other one in a cash game.
Yeah, on FanDuel, I'm personally on Detmers over Javier. Just Javier a little bit inconsistent in his past games, where Detmer's been very good, and both of their matchups pretty good today. So I'm going to take Detmers over Javier. On DraftKings, the pairing of them together does look pretty nice. It allows you to get some of the higher priced bats as well. And TJ, they have smashed the like button. So before we get to Chief, let's start getting some Spidey Bombs out here for the people.
Let's do it. And so one quick last thing on Detmers, I think on DraftKings where he's got that 7.5K price tag, I would almost be interested in hitting that lock button, even if I was playing 150 lineups. He's got an over 30% K rate to right-handed bats, and Pittsburgh's rolling out a fully right-handed lineup today. So this is about as good of a situation as you could ask for Detmers. Of course, pitchers could always fail, but for me, that's where I'd be looking to make the biggest stand and just go probably 100% Detmers over there. Spidey Bomb number one for the evening slate. Reminder, we still have Nimmo at plus 900 in Boston, and that game hasn't started yet, so you can still get that one in. Spidey Bomb number one for the late slate today. We are going to be going with Alex Kirilloff plus 800 on FanDuel. We're going to keep it with the high odds today, and so we're going to go with Kirilloff at 800. I got another one I really wanted to give right off the bat, and so I was thinking 75 likes. And so I'm going to give another one right now. And as soon as we get up to 100, I got a third one for the people. But we're going Michael Harris plus 680 over on FanDuel.
All right. So I'm going to get in on Kirilloff. 800 on FanDuel, next best line elsewhere, plus 600. So I always like to take these guys when they have a massive spread against some of the other books here. FanDuel is going to give us that line. This is what happened with some of the lines I think we took on Caesars on the first one. When they're giving you 200 points, TJ, you got to make sure you get it on that FanDuel account. And thank you to our sponsor, FanDuel. for sponsoring the show. New users, if you play deposit $5, you can get up to $100 in bonus bets if you are a new user in a sportsbook state. So make sure to check them out. Chief, pitching. What is going on tonight? I'm on Detmers for sure over anybody tonight. I would put him as the highest projected pitcher. What's your take on him versus Javier? And then if you're trying to get different of the higher tier pitchers, what is your preference for tournaments?
My preference for tournaments is Dylan Cease. I'm not afraid of what happened last night to Lance Lynn. I don't really care. Like Minnesota's Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Last night they scored runs. Tonight they could go out and strike out 20 times. And so I'm going to continue to attack this particular matchup. And I'm playing Cease on both sides, DraftKings and FanDuel. Highest exposed pitcher, definitely Dylan Cease. Of course, on DK where you're playing two pitchers, I'm going to definitely get some Detmers and Cease going. I'm also going to get some Scherzer. I'm also going to get some Logan Webb on DK. But all in all, I'm pretty much going pretty heavily, almost all in on Dylan Cease. My top exposure for tournaments, hands down.
Yeah, the strikeout matchup for him, in theory, looks very, very juicy against Minnesota today. If you had to pick any of the lesser known, maybe even cheap, I don't even know if you really need cheaper guys with how cheap Detmers and Javier are on both sites today. Anyone else? I mean, it's pretty much just the known quantities for me. I'm not going to mess around with the Gray, Winans from Atlanta. You've got pretty well known quantities up at the top if you want to get a little different today.
Yeah, for sure. And once again, like on FanDuel where you got access to Scherzer, a little bit different discussion. But like on DK, I'm about at 100% Cease and plenty of Detmers. Like it's just. I don't really see the need to try to risk it too much. Like Adrian Hauser, you're not playing him. Winans, you're not playing him. I'm full fading Javier for what it's worth. I think that's something I could probably mention for tournaments. He's just getting the X button. I know he came out and had a great game his first start back, but he wasn't pitching well before then. So I don't know if I'm going to need him. He is facing Oakland, but I definitely think Cease and Detmers have more upside than him tonight. Don't think Webb has as much upside, but I think Webb has the leash similar to Wheeler. I think Webb has the leash. So I don't think Webb's going to go out and get 10 strikeouts tonight, but I think 5 to 6 and 7 to 8 innings might be in the card. So that's why I'm so interested in Webb.
All right, we're just a few likes away, 12 from Spidey Bomb number 3. Keep those likes coming. Chief, I'm going to keep it with you for offense in general from a tournament perspective and maybe even as a whole. What are we looking at? We've got Atlanta with a big total. Some of those guys are expensive. You've got the Giants against Gray for a little bit cheaper price players. You've got the Angels with a big total. They did just scratch Neto maybe about a half an hour ago. He was leading off, so if you had him in your lineups, you're going to want to get him out. Which is the top offense for you?
It's the Braves. It's going to be the Braves. I don't care. Like they're just one of the best teams in baseball. So I don't think that's a secret. In terms of like deep tournament stuff, I'm going to go in reverse. So I'm going to give you what I'm going to consider to be the vomit stack. I'm not a big believer in Javier tonight, like everyone else is. So I'm going to stack Oakland, and that's not like my typical way of playing DFS. Like I don't just try to stack a guy because everybody else is playing him. But if something is wrong with Javier, I want to take advantage of that tonight. So I will be stacking some Oakland. Shout out to Eric Johnson if he's watching. He's probably super excited to hear that somebody else is going to stack the Oakland Athletics tonight. I will be stacking some Angels as well. I also want to stack Milwaukee tonight against the Braves. I think this could be another shootout game here that, the Braves have been in some shootouts recently with Arizona and so forth and so on. So I think this could be another shootout game. I will be stacking the Brewers as well. And then I might get to a little bit of the Phillies, but probably more one-off type scenario than a full stack. But that's about it. I'm going to be very, very honed in tonight on the teams I'm playing. Oakland, in terms of the vomit stack, if you want to call it that, I want to attack Javier. And if he's good tonight, he's just good. They're not my highest exposed offense. The Angels, the Brewers, the Braves, and then couple Phillies one-offs, and that's about it.
Anything you want to add, TJ?
Yeah, I feel very similarly. I'm on the same page with Chief for a lot of these. Atlanta is my number one by a fairly wide margin, and I like the idea of mixing in some Oakland. I wrote them up in the expert survey today as my favorite sneaky stack. Maybe a bit more as a mini stack than a full stack. Getting some JJ Bleday, Giloff, however you say his name, Seth Brown. Those would kind of be my favorite guys to get in there. I like the idea of stacking up some Milwaukee today, but my biggest target by a fairly wide margin is going to be Atlanta.
Interested to see if any of those plus 600 Oakland bats make it up as Spidey Bomb number 3. I know a couple of them are pretty nice. I did. I want to tail your Michael Harris. I wrote up Rosario. I think he's plus 600 on Fanduel on scores and odds today for a home run. So Hauser doesn't give up a lot of power, but anytime you can get Rosario for 600, looks pretty good for a home run spot. All right, TJ, let's go offense really quick. We are just a few likes away, 4 likes from Spidey Bomb number 3. Catcher position, TJ, more, get a little uncomfortable in your skin here from a cash game perspective. Probably not worrying about it much on FanDuel. On DraftKings, would it be a spend or a save spot for you?
Probably so. I'm trying in my single entry lineup today. I'm spending up for Sean Murphy. That's the guy that I'm looking to go to. But in cash, I totally understand if you can't get there. I think I would probably either be looking at William Contreras at 4.5, Blake Sabol at 3.9, or if Javier isn't my pitcher, maybe even Soderstrom at 7.5. If you want to punt with Grandal at 2.9, I'm good with that too. Basically, like any of the punts, I'm not going to argue too much with. But my favorite in the mid-tier is Sabol, and my favorite overall is Murphy.
Yeah, Contreras is 4,500. I like him from a cash game perspective. Let's see. Did we get there? A couple more likes. TJ gets Spidey Bomb 3 ready after catcher. Chief is going to talk about the tournament perspective.
No,
you're on mute, Chief.
Yep, I was on mute. Can I ask this question here from Jake? I caught one in the YouTube chat. Jake was just asking what was my favorite Oakland one-off. I got 2 that are interchangeable, and they're going to be easy. It's Bleday and Seth Brown. So those would be my 2. Probably Bleday overall, slightly lower K rate, higher walk rate. Seth Brown hits the fastball a little bit better. Bleday hits the fastball better than Seth Brown, at least on the season so far. So for me, it's probably going to be Bleday overall if I had to choose just one. But Bleday and Seth Brown would be where I would be landing in general. All right, we're talking about catcher.
For all those reasons and more, just to piggyback off of what Chief said, he's plus 5,600 on FanDuel. That is, in fact, Spidey Bomb number 3 and another player that's in my single entry today. So JJ Bleday, or I guess Spidey Bomb number 4, and let's add him to the list. I absolutely love him today.
Boom. I mean, man.
Chief, catcher?
Yeah, catcher. I'm basically going to build it out of my stack. So I will be able to get some Sean Murphy today, and I am going to get some William Contreras as well. I think in terms of, the Angels, I really like Tice tonight. As long as did Tice crack the lineup? Because I know it was grayed out. Yeah, he did. Okay, good. Yeah, Tice is pretty high on my list, especially with this Angel stack today. And then you got Shane Langeliers. Like all my catches are coming from my stack, so I'm not really one-offing a whole bunch of guys.
All right, going to first base. Interesting position on FanDuel. I guess in the mid-tier, TJ, I like Wade. He fits in nicely from a price perspective, upside against Gray. You've got on FanDuel, you've got Pete Alonso against Paxton, which you can certainly get to as well. On DraftKings, I'm finding myself, I'd like to play Ohtani or Olsen, or even Wade is 4,200, I think is fine. But I'm finding myself on DraftKings going cheap. You've got Moustakas at 2,800. You've got Connor Joe at 2,700. You've got Kirilloff at 2,500, even against Cease, a position I'm finding myself going cheap, at least on DK.
Yeah, so that's kind of where things are tough for me. Is when I'm going cheap, is my favorite pitching combo is Cease and Detmers. So I don't really want to go Joe. I don't really want to go Kirilloff in that lineup. I think Kirilloff could absolutely still knock one out. Of course, he's a Spidey bomb, but he's got great odds, and I'd rather just do that in an area where I don't already have Cease. And so for me, I'm either spending all the way up for Matt Olson, or I'm spending all the way down for Mike Moustakas. Those are the two guys that I'm mainly looking at today. If I can get to Shohei, great, but I'm fine with even trying to get him in the outfield instead. I do have a home run bet on Shohei Ohtani today. I was able to get him at like plus 350. And so that was more than good enough for me early on. So that's kind of where I'm leaning. It's going all the way up to Olsen or all the way down to Moustakas.
Yeah, I like Moustakas if you're of all the cheap guys, if you're trying to figure something out on DraftKings. Chief, tournaments, first base, what's happening?
Yeah, so when you're on DK, it's actually very interesting because with the Angels, I mean, you can play Ohtani, Moustakas, or you can get Renfroe there, but you can also get him in the outfield. So I think, and I'm just using this just as a kind of a tournament tactic, like depending on which guy you use there could drastically change your lineup, because if you use Ohtani there, like you're not going to get him in the outfield. You can still play Moustakas at third. You can still play Renfroe in the outfield, but depending on how you kind of want to strategize your lineup, you may be able to do something different, like just play Ohtani at first, avoid him in the outfield, and maybe fade Renfroe. Like I'm just using that as an example. At any rate, also at first base, I don't think it's a secret here. Matt Olson, like he should be fantastic. Owen Miller, obviously, you know I've talked about the.
Well, looks like Chief froze. TJ, let's go to second base. We'll wait for Chief to come back here. So you've got Ozzy Albies if you want to spend. I think is a great play. It's an absolutely trash position on FanDuel, so I do like prioritizing Albies over there. On DraftKings, you've got quite a few options. Albies is 6,300, maybe a little bit too expensive. You've got Monasterio at 2,500, and he's also in play on FanDuel. I forgot what his positions are over there, but specifically on DraftKings for the Brewers, hitting fifth for 2,500. I guess I should start this out by saying I'm trying to play Ronald Acuna today, so I have to make a couple of concessions in my cash games, and I'm willing to do that with Monasterio on DraftKings.
Yeah, I have two lineups on DraftKings, and Monasterio's in both of them, so he's definitely my favorite play at that position. I like going cheap, even on FanDuel. Queue up Albie's homer now because I'm putting the Dean mush on him, but he's been really poor lately. He's been really struggling lately, and so I'm gonna just wait a little bit on him, either until he picks it back up or until that price tag decreases. And so I'm looking to save some salary here, either go with Monasterio or somebody like Zach Geloff on DraftKings.
And then Chief, second base. I see you're back with us from a tournament perspective. What do you think we should be playing?
Yeah, so at second, still going to be getting in some of these. I'm still going to be getting the Braves bats. Still going to be getting in the Brewers bats. I did want to say, like Bryson Stott, I think at second in the 6-hole, 4K on DK in tournaments. Definitely a spot that I want to attack. He's one of those one-offs that I talked about that I wanted to use today.
All right. At third base, TJ, I got the same guy on both sites. I got JD Davis hitting third for San Francisco. He's 4,300 on DK, 2,900 on FanDuel. I want to get some exposure to the San Francisco offense, and he's a reasonably priced way to do it today.
Yeah, I don't mind that one bit either. On DraftKings, you could if you didn't play Monasterio there, you can also roll with him at third base. Moustakas, another cheap option. You can go at third. I don't hate the idea of a Heimer Candelario in tournaments, but for me, this is somewhere I'm looking to spend up. And Austin Riley is somebody I'm going to be prioritizing today. Like, he's just been hitting a home run every single game. He's got, 5 in his last 4 games. And so we absolutely can't quantify when hot streaks are going to start or end, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to try and latch onto this one while it's still rolling. So Austin Riley is going to be the guy that I'm going with today.
And if you're on FanDuel, you got Devers too. If you want to take a shot against Scherzer, he's got plenty of pop today. Chief third base.
Yeah, I don't mind Alex Bregman one off against Blackburn today. I think, on DraftKings, I do think I want to get them a stock that's at third on DraftKings for what it's worth. I think that's going to be the way I'm going to attack that. I'm with you, Austin Riley. I'm trying not to continually beat a dead horse with the same plays here, but he's one of the best plays on the board, so you definitely want to get some exposure to him. I talked about Bryson Stott. You can get Alec Baum at third as well at 3,700 on DK, just for a guy that you can swap out. So I like him as well.
All right, shortstop. I don't know, not really a position I'm looking to break the bank on. You've only got Trey Turner as your high end. You've got Lindor on FanDuel if you wanted to play that, but I think Adames for just a little bit cheaper fits a nice overall build today on both sites. I was looking at Neto, but again, he's out of the lineup for the Angels. So if you were playing him, get him out of your lineup. He's been scratched. That sort of forced me to go to Adames, just a nice mid-tier play who should have a reasonable expectation today, TJ.
Yeah, I don't mind Adames one bit. I'm playing 2 lineups and he's in one of them. But I think from a cash perspective, I would be prioritizing Gray Kessinger just because he's 2K leading off against Blackburn. That's just too good of salary savings to pass up the second highest projected offense on the slate, and he's leading off. So I think Kessinger is the one that I'd be prioritizing in cash.
And don't hate that for 2,200. I think I want a little bit more known quantity. Adames. And you've got who else is in here on DraftKings? You've got Abrams is 3,400. He's been swinging a hot bat. I know Webb's good too, but Abrams at 3,400. If you want a little bit more of a known quantity, also works out pretty well. Chief, how are you handling that?
So I was waiting to kind of talk about this because this isn't the best bat in this lineup, but I think it speaks to getting unique in your lineup construction. I'm going to for sure be playing some bottom of the order Brave stats where I do Ozuna, Rosario, Arcia, Michael Harris. Just hit the bottom, right? And so what happens is you end up with Orlando Arcia, and while he's not the best hitter on this team, I'm not saying you need to fade all of the big bats for the Braves. I'm just saying I've seen instances, and I think a lot of us have, where the bottom of the order just goes nuts, and the front of the order is getting singles and maybe a steal, but the bottom of the order is just, I don't know, crushing that day. So I like Orlando Arcia, and he's going to have much lower ownership than the rest of this lineup, even outside of Michael Harris. Michael Harris is getting way more ownership than Orlando Arcia. Is Michael Harris a better hitter? Absolutely. But the point is they're still in relatively similar spots in the offense. And who's to say that Orlando Arcia does not hit 2 today? So I like him a ton at shortstop. Wanted to kind of ring the bell on him, and I'll leave it there.
Outfield, TJ, I'm prioritizing Acuna. Got to have him on my cash teams today. If I'm spending up on a single player, it's Acuna over Ohtani for me. So that's going to leave me with a couple 2 to 3K players at a couple other positions from a cash games. You've got Yelich as well. You've got take your pick of the Giants outfielders. Those are probably the core holdings for me from a cash game perspective.
Yeah, I'm with you. I like that quite a bit. I'm prioritizing personally these mid-tier Atlanta guys. So I love Harris, Rosario, Ozuna today. I also love Chiefs Arcia call. That's just anytime Atlanta's moderately chalk, you can just always play Arcia, and he was an all-star. He's having a phenomenal year. He's having his best year ever. You get him in that lineup and nobody ever plays him. I really love Kyle Schwarber today for tournaments. 4,700 on DraftKings is just way too cheap, and we're projecting him for sub 10% ownership. But from a cash perspective, I'm with you. I'd prioritize Acuna. I'd prioritize Yaz at 3.4K, maybe Conforto at 3.7. I'd be totally fine getting to San Francisco players in my cash game lineup there. But then even just like if I need to save salary and I land on JJ Bleday, or I have 4,700 left and I want to play Schwarber, I'd probably go Jock over him in cash. But I don't hate the idea of doing that. The outfield is really strong today.
And then, Chief, what are some ways you might want to look to get a little different today?
I'm going to tell you right now.
All right, let's hear it.
Right now, play all three of them. Bleday, Brown, Thomas, stack the Braves. Nobody's going to do it. So what I can so you're talking about getting very creative. Play all three Oakland outfielders together. You can literally get all the good Braves except Acuna. You see what I'm saying? So Albies, Riley, Olsen, Murphy, and I'll stack the Oakland outfield against Javier. And I'm telling you right now, people don't want to do that. That's very uncomfortable. But if you want to take down tournaments, get comfortable being uncomfortable. I'll leave it at that.
Oh, all right. Let's get to some questions real quick. TJ, you got any other Spidey bombs in your back pocket for the people, or are we done for today?
How many likes are we at here? 108. Over 330 people watching. Yeah, if we can get us up to 150, I got one more for us.
150. Start hitting it. He is asking for some numbers, people.
That's less than half. We got like 300 people watching. That's easy.
All right, I'm going to go to the Discord for some questions in the live stream chat. And a side note, if you are looking for a nice little community, it's picking up on the RotoGrinders Discord. Chief has his prop shop, of course, talking props and stuff like that all day long. But if you just want to talk about the slate or anything like that, use the general channels. We were getting a little bit more talkative here on RotoGrinders. All right, first question. Let's see here. This is from, I'm going to work backwards. SHB Ball, Cash. Otani, Keshinger, Conforto, or Moustakos, Adames, and Jock. That's definitely probably number one for me on that.
Those are both phenomenal, but I would say number one.
Yeah, I would probably go number one on that one. Moustakas or Montecchio for Fanduel Cash. So that's a pretty good question there. I would probably lean Moustakas personally on that one.
Yeah, me too.
BJ Thompson on DraftKings Cash, second base, 3,600 or less. So the problem with that is you need to get $300 more for Ozzy Albies, because everybody else, it's a very, very, very weak position.
I'd go Julian if I don't have Cease.
Yeah, I would find 300 to get Albies, or you're probably going down to Montecchio at 2,400 and spending your cash elsewhere. TJ, that would be my take.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Just like if you happen to feel like I really don't want to adjust my whole lineup, I would go Julian.
All right, let's see here. Chief, Amateur Hour, single entry DraftKings tournaments. Albies, JD Davis, and Frelick versus Wisely, O'Reilly, and Harris. Chief, I think Chief froze, so we'll skip. We'll go to TJ on that one. So if you're stacking Atlanta and San Francisco, which combo do you want? Albies, JD Davis, and Frelick, or Riley, Harris, and Wisely?
Second one.
I like that first one, so we'll take a split. I think both of those very, very nice today. All right, going to go to the YouTube. The bat from Acuna to Otani. So we're looking at a 2.5-point gap on that one from the Bat X from Mr. Derek Carty. So I definitely like Acuna today personally as well. Krieger wants to know FanDuel low-owned tournament play. So this is a pretty wide question here, TJ. Maybe let's think about this. We're on FanDuel. We're trying to find something reasonably low-owned with some upside. I know Chief was on the A's. Do you think that translates to FanDuel as well?
Yeah, I don't mind that, but a great low-owned tournament play on FanDuel. I'm gonna give you a couple. I'm gonna say Kyle Schwarber in the outfield at 3,500, sub 10%. Rafael Devers at third base, sub 10%. And then rolling with Sean Murphy in your Atlanta stacks on FanDuel, either with Olsen or as opposed to.
All right. Andrew Martinez on YouTube wants to know Ozuna or Rosario in a DraftKings tournament. I have a Rosario home run prop that's plus 600 on FanDuel. Do you have a particular take between those two, TJ?
I would go with Rosario.
Chief, welcome back to the show. Sorry
man.
for all the difficulties, but we're back to have the tournament and prop master back. Paul Hauser wants to know Blade or Yaz from a DraftKings one-off tournament perspective.
Man, that's a good question. I don't mind Yaz. I think Yaz is getting more ownership than Blade. Give me Blade.
Yeah, Yaz is going to definitely draw some ownership. The Giants lefties will be popular today. I like Blade. Blade was basically like the last guy out of my FanDuel cash team a little earlier in the day, so I think he's a reasonably good play. Let's see here. A couple more. Blade and CJ Abrams. If Abrams goes yard against Webb, I'd be surprised, but I do like Blade to go yard. Let's see if we can have a couple more. 3,900 in the DraftKings.com outfielder. Ward or Rosario? Chief, I'll go to you.
Let's go. Give me Ward today. I like him leading.
Yeah, I like Ward. You can even throw in, there's a whole ton of options here. You've got a couple Giants lefties, a little cheaper. You've got Seth Brown. You've got Rosario or Ward. There are a ton of options for you to make that line work.
Yeah.
TJ, you have a favorite between any of those?
Rosario.
All right, let's see. It looks like the YouTube. Someone wanted to know about, I think it's your hat, Chief. Mine's just Sharpside, the old sports betting app here at RotoGrinders. I know exactly what your hat is every time I go to Nashville, but they want to know about your hat.
Yeah, this is from Hattie B's. This is my original. This is my Hattie B's original. I did pick up a new one this season when we went down there, and I will pick up another one next year and the year from. So, it's kind of a thing. So
the rim gets a little sweaty, or you just need a new one to keep it going?
No, I'm going to get a new one every time. So I have a fresh all red one now that's got Hattie B's in the front with the Argyle underneath the bill, black and red Argyle. It's a nice one. So yeah, Hattie B's is it's just kind of our thing. We go to Nashville, we all get to
the regular is too hot. The nice mild, it's great chicken. The sides, Dean will tell you about the banana. What is it? The banana pudding?
They've got bacon cheddar grits now too, which were really good. Yeah.
All right. Next time I'm there, I'm gonna have to make sure I get there.
And I might take a special trip. I did plan to take a special trip to Nashville and work out of the office for a week, just so I could hop on the sportsbook side a little bit, because I don't have that where I live. So I'm going to start trying to do that. I ended up pulling back this year because obviously I'm getting married. But starting next year, I might go once a quarter if the home office will have me. I think they will, and just work out of the office.
Unquestioned, they would invite you, without question, Chief. So we only have one game locking at 7:05. It's the Giants in Washington. So we got a couple of questions coming in here. Let's try to answer those real quick. The Prince wants to know favorite FanDuel pitcher if he's playing one lineup tonight. TJ, I'll start with you.
Detmers.
It would be Detmers for me as well. I absolutely love Detmers. Chief, you got one pitcher on FanDuel.
Oh, Dylan Cease.
Cease for Chief. I figured he was going to say that. Let's see here. 5-man. I'm just trying to double check all the questions. I think we're reasonably up to date on the YouTube. I'm going to go check. Oh, Prince is back in Discord as well. Beaner wants to know, this is a FanDuel tournament, so Albies, Moustakas, and Kirilov, or Kirilov, Monasterio, and Murphy. So it's really Monasterio and Murphy, or Albies and Moustakas. Chief, which side you got there?
Monasterio, Moustakas.
So it's Monasterio and Murphy, or Albies, Moustakas.
Monasterio, Murphy.
That'll definitely be the lower owned one, and I think that's but I think I would take number 2 on that one as well. I'm going to give you a bet. I had they only got to 121. Is that good enough for anything from you, TJ? Or I'll settle at 120 to give out the same thing I gave out earlier.
It's good enough to confirm that I agree Eddie Rosario is a great Spidey bomb at plus 600.
All right, so we'll go with that one. Bet I'm on. This is for tomorrow. I got a big boy bet. Out on the Mariners, my favorite pitcher in the world, Alex Manoah, is going for the Blue Jays tomorrow. We are taking the side against him for as long as he is still a Major League Baseball pitcher. Brian Wu is going for the Mariners in his own right. They were minus 125 or minus 130. Go get that now. That thing is going to steam towards minus 150 overnight. I can all but guarantee it. That's pretty much all I. What do you got?
You want my hot take for that one?
Well, you right. What do you is the Manoah performance against the Tigers good, or was it the Padres, the bad strike zone? What do you think is going to happen in that one?
Manoah will strike out at least 8 Mariners.
Oh wow, they are susceptible. We'll have to see how that plays out. I'm going to ride the long trend of Manoah this season. Hopefully, that Tigers game where he was good, it was the Tigers, was the blip in the performance, and the longer trend holds for me on. So we'll see how that plays out. Will, you got anything else? Any props you're looking at tonight?
Man, I got in early, so all my cards were built with early stuff. But if you can still get this in, I am on Cease. More than, I think, 7 strikeouts on the pick'em sites, more than 6 strikeouts for Scherzer on the pick'em sites. I've got some Tanner Bibby, more than 5.5 strikeouts on the pick'em sites. That one's already started. And yeah, so those are my main ones. Everything else is already settled today. Like I had Kevin Gausman, less than 1.5 walks, more than 7.5 strikeouts. Logan Gilbert, less than 6 strikeouts. Got some Logan Webb, less than 2.5 earned runs allowed. Let's see what else. I took Garrett Cole, more than 41.5 fantasy points today. The only thing I've missed so far today has been Brady Singer. I wanted less than 5 to 5.5 strikeouts. He picked up 8. But that's the only thing I missed. Everything else is pretty live. So if everything else comes through, it's going to be another great night in the prop shop and in my pocket.
All right. TJ, real quick, Beaner wants the recap of the Spidey Bombs, and then we'll get out of here.
So we got Brandon Nimmo plus 900 on Caesars. Michael Harris plus 680 on FanDuel. Alex Kirilloff plus 800 on FanDuel. JJ Bleday plus 540 on FanDuel. And Eddie Rosario plus 600 on FanDuel.
All right. Did you have those written down, or did you just do that off the top of your head?
Right off the top of the cuff.
That's very impressive without the odds. I could not do that.
I did just recently drop that in Discord, like
all right.
5 minutes
that
ago.
Makes much more sense to me.
But yeah, it was off the cuff.
All right. Good luck, everybody, tonight. Go more Spidey Bombs. TJ was on a hot streak, 2 for 2 so far today from the early show. Let's hope those keep coming. I appreciate those. Will, have fun in the prop shop in the Discord. You can always go talk props with Will, or if you want to talk regular general stuff, the channels on the Discord are starting to pop off a little bit more than they used to. Other than that, have a good night, everybody. For Chief and TJ, I'm Britt. Thanks for watching, and we out, ya.